Hey, I'm going to join the discussion, sense of self, change, and stability. And I'm going to start out with the first question that's listed for us to reflect upon. How do we form our sense of self and identity? And I think everybody touched on it pretty much exactly how I would. That I think your sense of self and identity is basically shaped by the interactions and influences of the people that surround us. And I think most of it's probably the immediate people that surround us, but I think it too can go into indirect kind of influences, like we've talked about, in our ecological system that indirectly impact us. And I think that has something to do too with how we shape our sense of self. I think it develops over time. I think that our personalities and our temperaments do have something to do with it, but I think that it's our personalities and our temperaments are basically kind of shaped, how do I want to say this, like more on our interactions, like it's the interactions, how our personality and our temperament handle the interactions that we have is what starts to shape our personalities, and they continue to be shaped, and then our self-concept begins to develop, and then as we grow older, we start to define ourselves and create our identities and that sort of thing. But I think it's definitely an ongoing change, and it's very influential based on the things that surround us. For the second question, how does our sense of self change across the lifespan? I think it changes a lot. I think, as I've said before, it changes over the experiences that occur in our lives. I think that as we have these experiences, we take knowledge from them, we gain wisdom, we kind of learn what to do and what not to do, and how to act and how not to act. And then ideally, too, we'll know our culture, and we'll establish our own concepts and identities in order to help us function the best that we can in society. What aspects of personality are stable and which change? A lot of people said that there are certain ones, Tia, Nicole, and Tiffany said that there are certain ones that stayed the same, but that a lot of them changed too. So like how to deal something, some of you mentioned that, you were better able to handle things conflict-wise now than you used to be. And you mentioned that, as I had said, as you've gotten older, you have experienced new things, and that's shaped and molded them. I made that note on Nicole's. And I think that's exactly right, but I think less changes than we think as we get older. I think there's like this period of significant change that's recognizable, and then once we hit like adulthood, we probably have a few more times of change that are significant in our sense of self. Things like having our own families, career changes, that sort of thing. But then I think as we grow older, maybe even later in adulthood, and then as we become in the elderly type of stage, I think less changes. And I think I made a note in here. On page 169 of chapter 6, the bottom page under a time of stability and change, the text mentions distinct patterns of personality development related to temperament traits continue to occur. In particular, adults become more agreeable, more conscientious, more emotionally stable, but less extroverted and less open to experience. I think what changes is that the change slows down significantly. We don't notice it as much. Let's see here. What does our sense of self have to do with our social interactions and cultural belief systems? I think a lot. I think it's a reciprocal relationship, which I think we've read about and talked about before. Not only do the social interactions and the cultural belief systems interact or shape who we are and mold us based on those things, I think what we become then, we also shape, or not shape necessarily, but we also impact social interactions and cultural belief systems. So I thought it was a great topic. It was really interesting, and everybody did a great job hosting. Thanks.